Okay, so I took maybe 60 milligrams of Adderall today because I had a pretty bad night. I drank. It's a lot of bullshit. But so it took 60, it took two to get me where I needed to be so I can get a lot of stuff done today. I really need to kick my productivity into high gear. And I really don't like taking Adderall because I know there's long-term side effects, but regardless, with the advanced medical technology that will be available in the near future will allow me to reverse any damage that the Adderall does to me. But I need this motivation. I need this drive. I mean, there's plenty of other sources that would give me motivation, that would give me the desire to want to get things done, to take care of all my responsibilities, to complete all my assignments, to read all the books that I want to read, and actually get out of bed in the morning and do the things that I love. It's weird when you get depressed. It's such a strange reaction, and it seems so maladaptive. You wouldn't think that evolution would design this thing called depression, but you also see it in animals, and it's very strange. Why create this reaction to stressful situations, this learned helplessness, or just the stress reaction that shuts down your ability to deal with your environment and makes you really in a natural environment where we don't have, modern civilization. You're basically, what's the term? A sitting duck, I suppose, would be a good term. You are going to die if no one is there to comfort you and bring you back, you know, sit you down and is someone who loves you and tells you everything's going to be right and helps you work through the problem. But something happens with human beings where when things aren't going right, you just shut down, and it's just a terrible reaction. It's really seems to me paradoxical. I wonder what the evolutionary purpose, the emergent purpose, the reason that people get depressed. But I've used Adderall in order to overcome that, and I believe I'll continue to do that in the future. But I'm also going to alternate days because when I have Adderall, I don't tend to get a lot of healthy food. I can only eat late in the afternoon when my appetite returns. And when I do eat, I need to eat as healthy as humanly possible so I can maintain my energy levels. Because I ate nothing but junk food, eventually I'm going to tank, regardless of whether or not I have Adderall. I'm also going to cycle on and off it. I'm going to take it, take Adderall one day, then off it another day, take it the next day, off it another day, take it one day, off it, yep, off the other day, just alternate it. On days I don't take it, just focus on getting a really healthy diet, exercising likely, and doing things that are low stress but I enjoy doing, like reading books about education and taking notes on it. But when it comes to things that I really don't want to do, that really stress me the fuck out, like write some bullshit essay that's not where I'm not learning anything that's really useful, but I'm only doing it for a grade, that I have to jump through this useless hoop and like basically waste my time writing about something that is irrelevant to my career, to the things I want to do to make this world a better place. It doesn't enrich me. It doesn't increase the quality of my life. It doesn't improve my critical thinking skills, my strategic thinking skills, my creative thinking skills, my analytical thinking skills. I do all these tasks. I study all these damn subjects. There's no reason for me to study chemistry. I'm studying chemistry for a grade. I'm not studying it for a purpose. I will never use chemistry. Do I want to know about the latest developments in chemistry and different opposing viewpoints and how it's going to impact me? Yes. Do I want to know about genetically engineered animals like the PepsiK mice and the mice that live long, that because of the genetic change that you know cause their telomeres not to shorten quite as quickly, that basically mice that live longer than normal mice, and also like super intelligent mice, and what this means for the future of humanity. Basically, genetically engineered human beings are already probably in existence. These are the type of things I want to research and study. I want to know the ethical impact, the societal impact. How is this going to affect culture? How is this going to affect warfare? How is this going to affect human society as a whole? That's something I'd like to research. How are the latest developments in science going to affect me? I don't want to know the. I mean, some of it's useful, and some of it is good to know. You know, at least have a basic understanding of how chemistry works. But make it interesting. There's no reason for me to do these experiments and to memorize all this information regarding Boyle's law and so on and so forth. I've studied it in high school. I got the basics. These are not things that I need to know in depth. I should have a cursory understanding of them. Not cover too much material. Just get the basics. Cover it as quickly as possible. Learn at as fast a rate as I can, as humanly possible. So if I want to take 3 tests in 1 week and just blow through it and get it done quickly as possible, allow me to do that. Why have everybody take the test at the same rate? If I don't want to listen to a lecture, but rather just study from the textbook, why waste my time listening to a lecture when I don't enjoy listening to lectures. I find that the professor is too slow in talking. I find it very boring. I find it very dull. And I could be 10 times more efficient and more productive and accomplish my goal in a much more time efficient manner if I were allowed to do it based on my own understanding of how fast I can read. See, a business would never, well, private schools just follow the status quo. There's very few private schools that innovate. You have the Van Damme Academy, and I'm sure you have other schools like the Van Damme Academy that innovate and are getting amazing results. The students from Van Damme Academy, there are 6th graders at the Van Damme Academy that can write better than I can write. But of course, I'm just beginning to work on my writing. Is like playing guitar. I've gotten a few lessons, but you have to do it on every single day. You have to write, and continually get constructive criticism. You need to get feedback from people who know how to recognize where you're going wrong and give you good diagnostics. And say, this is what you're doing right, this is what you're doing wrong. You should have structured it in this way. I want you to redraft this. I want you to try moving this paragraph up here. I want you to shorten all these sentences. These are the questions I'm left asking, and just leave question marks everywhere. This is what I'm confused about. These are the questions that are left unanswered. I don't see the connection between this and that. Where's the connection? I don't know. I need people to read my writings and say, okay, this is where I'm getting lost, and this is where you're not persuading me, and this is where you could use a couple good examples. And, you know, if they could be creative and come up with good ideas too, and throw me, you know, and they know the subject matter I'm writing about, maybe they could throw me a few good ideas too. That's why I want to give my writings to people who are PhDs in education. I want to give my writings to people who are pursuing their degree in education, to teachers, to professors, and ask them what do they think about it. Have them sit down and get their constructive feedback about it, because I plan to start my own series of private schools and to completely and utterly revolutionize the manner by which we teach high school, undergraduate, and graduate level courses. Now, elementary, it's much more difficult because I've read stuff by Montessori, I've read different stuff about grade school children. I have a few ideas about that, but that's not something I've studied in depth because it's much more complex and arises a whole new set of issues when you're dealing with children, because child psychology is so very different from adolescent psychology, which is not. I remember being an adolescent and how I thought as an adolescent, and the angst and the nonsense. I can kind of relate to that, and I've read books about adolescent psychology and adult psychology. I really don't understand child psychology or the best manner in which they learn. Though I do have some good ideas regarding that. That would be a separate topic entirely. Now, I don't know if I'm doing myself a disservice in lumping together undergraduate courses, graduate level courses, and high school courses as well. But I think across the board, the suggestions that I made in this research paper do apply across the board. And I don't think I'm going to write this research paper for microeconomics. I don't have the time. I'll fail it. What the fuck ever. I really don't care. I'll pass 3 courses, get maybe a D in this course. I really don't care. I really don't feel like doing it, so I really am just not going to do it. And I'm going to utilize Adderall when I'm at Weiner in order to get ahead on things. I'm also going to utilize the job I have up there, having a steady income while I'm in my studio apartment. So I'll be all set up there, and I'll also have my grandma not far away. I also have all my family members very close by. So when I have questions about things, I can interview them about the latest developments in healthcare information systems, about the healthcare field. They can be audience members in it, and I can improve my audio equipment. I'm going to actually stop by Office Depot and then buy a piece of audio equipment, so I get high quality audio on this laptop, something that looks nice, and then hopefully upgrade over time. I know I'm moving around a lot. I don't like standing still, but I probably should learn to master that. And I will also create a lot of PowerPoint presentations that are very powerful. And then in the presentation room at Weiner, they have rooms for presentations. And they also have cameras. I can create PowerPoint presentations that are similar to TED Talks. And there's a lot of different things I'm going to do. I'm going to do presentations on female psychology, why women do the things they do, how they think, and so on. I think that'll be very popular, depending on how I market it. Put flyers around it, get pre-approval, have a professor, watch it, pre-approve it by watching it before I deliver it. That's one thing. Self-improvement. I'd also like to draw from Tony Robbins, Stephen Covey, and talk about living a life of self-improvement. Also about getting a job, getting a career that you love. Talking about the job market as it is today. If you're going to be a psychology major, what's the best? What type of books do you want to read to ensure that you're setting yourself up to get a job when you graduate? And also in education, and also in any field in healthcare. You have to do your own research regarding the field and what the core competencies, that the skills that are required, the knowledge that is required in order to get a job right off the bat. You also have to know, are the jobs in demand or is it highly competitive? If only 50% of employers are getting hired, that means you have to at least be in the top 50th percentile in terms of what you know and who you know. It's not just what you know, it's who you know. The more connections you can get before you graduate, the better off you are. And you have to maintain that network. You have to work on LinkedIn. You have to go to different conferences. You have to meet people. You have to have a card even when you're in college, and make sure that you impress those people and have things to say that hopefully they're not even aware of, so that it shows that you have value that you can bring to their establishment. Regardless, if you're a lawyer, you want to know about different areas of law that are relevant to that firm, different court cases that they're doing, that they're involved in, and have insight into those court cases. If you're a business major, you want to know about every single major player in the industry in which you're interested. If you want to go into the food industry, in food manufacturing, or food retail, or food wholesale, you want to do industry-specific research, so you know the ins and outs of that industry before you even graduate. If you want to get into IT, you want to know the ins and outs of that industry before you even graduate, so you don't come out with some blanket degree. You know what's going on, what's been going on in the past few years, and what trends are occurring now and are going to continue in the future. So you can have those type of intelligent discussions with people who are in the industry. You give them your card. Hopefully, you make an impression. So the more people that you can make an impression on at these different networking conferences, the better chances you have of getting a job, maybe even before you graduate.